Sound resumed.
I gotta go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Today is Friday, September 18th, directly from ECR Studios. I'm not going to tell you guys where because I don't want you showing up at my house, especially drunk, especially at night. So we are here live doing ECR Hub episode 4, backed by popular demand, and because we had nothing better to do on a Friday night. So here we are. We have a bunch of special guests here tonight. Here with me always, the partner in crime on ECR Hub, president of the league, driver of the 87 Gene Beam Mean driving machine, Anthony Titchener. Anthony, good evening. How are you, buddy?
What's going on, buddy? What's going on, man? Ready to talk.
Hell yeah. We have a special guest tonight joining us for the very, very first time. The Beast himself, driver of the number 1, John Schweiker. Johnny, got a copy?
What up, brother?
What up, brother? Welcome to your first ECR Hub. We're breaking John's virginity at the Hub tonight, so welcome to him. With us, always making his 4th appearance, even though he is a minor, but he's still here with us. Driver, owner, future entrepreneur, multimedia mogul superstar, Nick Olson. How you doing, buddy? Got a copy?
You should be on the Shark Tank, hey.
Yeah, man. Give it a couple years. Give it a couple years. That's going to be you. They're going to move Mark Cuban. You're going to have that seat for sure. And I don't know who else is here. Jai, are you here?
Sound for?
All right. Jai Hedrick with us, driver of the number 44, 43, 19, 91, and every other number that you can possibly imagine. He already drove it at ECR in the Trucks Xfinity Cup. So if you have a car, if you need a driver, Jai's your guy. So he can drive pretty much anything. And that's it, guys. For now, that's us. Welcome everybody. How's everybody's week has been? Everybody ready for a wonderful weekend of truck racing, Xfinity racing, Cup racing? The chase starts this week. We have NFL back. We have football. Man, this thing doesn't end. Where are we going to start with? Let me see. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pick something. All right.
It's a very busy week. Wherever you want to start at, man, we got a lot to talk about here tonight.
All right. Let's start let's talk a little bit about what iRacing did to everybody. For those of you who listen to the Hub, are part of the online iRacing community, iRacing just released a couple of weeks ago, like about a week and a half, their latest build, their latest version of the software that brought a bunch of new little things to our little world. The biggest one that everybody's been talking to, some guys have been enjoying, some guys have been having problems, is the new dynamic track system, where you can have track changing during the race. You can put rubber on the track, get rubber out, put marbles, do a bunch of different things. And from what I could tell right now, seeing broadcasts running with different people, different leagues, different cars, some guys that were really fast before, they're not getting this change that well. They're not liking it too much. They're having a really hard time with tire wear, the way that they drive. That thing has been complicated to adjust. We had a race at ECR, both at the Xfinity, no, all 3 series. We had Cup, Xfinity, and Trucks already running with the new format. So you guys have driven both like Xfinity and Cup and Truck, Xfinity and Truck. What do you guys think is right now, this very initial view of this new track system? What do you guys think are the biggest difference right now? Start with you, Anthony.
Well, to be honest with you, man, I think with the way that we do it, where we start practice and we lay rubber down, and then we clean the track for qualifying, we lay rubber down and go to the race, I'm not sure if we're really experiencing the whole rubber build-up with the 50 and 60% races that we do. I haven't really experienced the truck races. Maybe they experience it more. I don't know. But it seems like when the chase comes, we're really going to experience what it's really like with the full fields, because I believe that our numbers are going to go back up. The chase is here. People are going to be in it to win it. So we're really going to see what the rubber buildup is like. I don't think we really experienced it yet, and I myself don't feel like I have experienced it enough to know what it does. So I know this week with the Cup Series, we were talking about starting out with zero rubber, a clean track in practice when the lobby goes up at 6 o'clock on Tuesday for Cup, and having the rubber just lay down all throughout practice, and then we qualify, and then it just carries over all through qualifying to the race, and the track doesn't get cleaned except for cautions for the marbles. That's what we were looking to do this week, starting for the chase, you know, because last week I just felt like, and a lot of guys felt like, you didn't feel enough of it. We felt like if you didn't clean it and let the rubber build, you would be able to see more rubber build up and more competitive racing, more strategy, more racing in general. So those are my thoughts on it, and I'm definitely interested in hearing what you guys are wanting to see moving forward here as well.
Yeah, John, you won a couple of the races this week. You've been racing. I think right now one of the few drivers that actually won race at ECR at both settings, before this new build and after. What do you think were the biggest changes, not only in driving style, but setting up the car that you had to face? If anything changed quite a bit, or are you still approaching the things the same way?
Things are completely different. I've actually went out and raced a ton of A-Open races and NIS races this week, because this is the first mile and a half since the new build, so I want to get a really good feel for it. And it's completely remarkable. I love this new build. If you go out here, basically, no matter how you set your car up, it changes drastically over a run. And what I'm really noticing the most is as rubber builds up, you really have to keep up with changes. You either have to know whether your car is going to get looser depending on the weather or tighter. A-Open weather this week, you're getting tighter, and that's with a little bit colder atmosphere, heavy clouds. With NIS, you have a lot more sun, and it's a little hotter, and you're getting looser as the run goes on, so you really have to adjust for it, and it's a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to, I think this week, I'm not sure if it's been set yet, but if we go full rubber, this is going to be a blast. I'm seeing guys starting to move up the track. We're not at the high side yet, but I think it's really coming, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I did see tonight was the very first night that I ran it, where guys, there was like 6 or 7 guys, and they were running side by side for multiple laps, and it was a blast. And I love this new build, and I love where iRacing's going.
Yeah, it's funny. I think this week, and now we were talking about this before with a couple of other guys. This seems to be one of the very first weeks since I joined iRacing that I've seen quite such a difference between A-Open rooms and NIS rooms. This talking about the A cars. They are completely different. You see guys running low 28s at Chicagoland this week on the A-Opens. If you can clear the 29s at the NIS settings, also at Chicagoland, you have a monster time. So it's almost a second difference. So I think this is the very first time I've seen such a different environment. And depending on what you're doing, man, this thing is going to be crazy depending on how you set your car. And knowing ECR that we run realistic weather, that we only going to know Sunday when they drop the green flag, it's a total mystery. We have absolutely no clue what we're going to get. So this is part of the chase. This is part of why ECR is one of the toughest leagues to run, because you never know what you're going to get. But I totally agree with you guys. Nick, you just ran an NIS Open at Chicago. Looking at the build, and you were running a lot of Xfinity races, you ran a lot of truck races, but now you run at the Cup at NIS. Do you agree with John that the thing completely changed the way that you drive? Or you had to adjust midway through and see the race, not only, oh, I'm going to get this guy this lap and try to go that one and just go balls deep every run. You really had to think What's my car going to do in 20 laps, 30? How am I going to adjust now, knowing that I have 30-something cars on the track? Rubber's going to build that whole thing. It was really like that during the race?
Oh, absolutely. I think, like, in that race, like John was saying, the lines are moving. It's not just bottom feeding all the time anymore. You got to go some places that you wouldn't typically go to get where the speed is. I know where my car was handling best was middle to the top. So I was running middle to the top, and I was running low 30s, high 29s that race, and that's considered good, like what you just said, versus those 28s you saw before the new build. And right now I'm in a trucks race, C fixed, and I'm running around, and I just made 3 passes on the high side in a truck, where typically you would only need to make those passes on the bottom. Now you can go up high and make those passes. So I think the racing is going to get very interesting in these next 10 weeks.
Jai, you've been running a lot of fixed races. Does the fixed races, you're seeing the same thing as the open setups?
No, I agree with Anthony. I don't think the races are long enough in the fixed as we see in the track clearing. It's just not enough rubber buildup, unfortunately.
Yeah, so maybe this time they went very, very heavy on what open sets were going to feel like, and that's what they pretty much putting their money in. So we'll never know. Well,
Guys should practice on the rubbered up tracks. I'm projecting that if you were to go out and test, it would be 25 to 40% rubber buildup just from practice, man, because we have 3.5 hours of practice with guys that are going to come in on race day and they're going to put laps down. And the closer we get, around 8 o'clock, you really got like 20 plus people out there doing laps over and over. The rubber's going to build up. And if we're going to carry it over, I truly believe it'll be about 25 to 40%. So for the people listening, guys in ECR, everybody running, if you want to practice and try to get used to what the track is going to be like on race day, I would try to practice on 25 to 40%. Just try to lay some rubber down, maybe start the surface out at 25, practice, then run a race and do some laps, man, with rubber buildup, because we will be carrying it over just to try to see what the difference is. I mean, going into the chase, we want it to be more realistic. And with the Cup Series, you understand that the Cup Series are the last people to hit these tracks. You have guys, sometimes the trucks, the Xfinity, and the Cups are all at the same track all week. So there's so much rubber there built up on Sunday. And that's what we're going to try to simulate. Because at ECR, we believe in competition, but we also try to keep it as real as can be. And I believe in that if we let that rubber build up, we should be looking good here. That's pretty much how Cup is on Sunday. There's a lot of rubber buildup. So you guys want a head start? Run some rubber on the track, man, because I think that a lot of guys are going to come out and then lay some rubber down, and that's what your setups need to be built around. It'll make a difference.
And Anthony and Luis, let me throw this out there too. 2 things. When I ran this race, I ran a race earlier in the week. I had a friend running with me too. I was way faster than him, and one run I took it so easy, and I just gapped. I mean, absolutely gapped the field. And then we came in and pitted, and I came back out, and I was like, screw this, I'm going to drive really hard like we used to do. And within 15 laps of driving hard, I completely fell back into the field. I mean, I went from leading with 2 seconds, and within 15 laps, I dropped so far back. I mean, I was like 6th, 4 or 5 seconds off the pace. So you really have to manage that right front tire. I mean, it's unreal how awesome this new build is, where you have to manage your line, your setup, chase the track, just all that stuff. It's so much fun. It's really built the racing back into this build. It's fun.
Were you talking about the last race we were at?
Negative. I'm talking about this week. Like I said, I raced a lot of races this week, several A Opens, a couple NIS races, and just I want to get the full experience of what this new build's going to do on a 1.5 miles, and what better place to experience a 1.5 miles with this crazy build than Chicago. It's so forgiving.
Yeah, I had the same issue on a practice race yesterday. 10, 15 laps in, my right front was done, completely melted. So it's back to the drawing board, and pretty much like you guys were saying, how do we set this thing up not to be a 5 to 10 lap really good, because the track's not going to change, so you're not going to have that much of a fallout. Now that the track does change, it increases like incredibly faster how the tires and your setup might fall off. So it's gonna be interesting. Us at ECR, and I'm gonna help use this to connect to our second topic. We're gonna start just like NASCAR is our chase for this year, and this is gonna throw a major curveball into everybody, because we ran last week at Richmond under the new conditions, but because of the type of the track, I don't think we had that the full understanding and the full effect of all those changes. Now, under this type of track that just eats setups and tires, we're gonna see some crazy races depending on how they go, especially if we end up having a second part of the race full of green lap runs. It might be one of those things, some guy's leading, all of a sudden 10 laps in, he's back into 5th. Someone else that was not even in the top 10 might be up there the second half of the race, just because the guy or the girl, all right, saved his tires, knew how to adjust midway through, had a good setup that he knew that it was only going to come in around a certain number of rubber on the track. So this is going to be interesting. And talking about our chase, we have our grid. So Anthony, you lead our grid right now because you had 5 wins during the season, so you get most points, most bonus points. So you start. Yeah.
The nothing, I'll tell you, man, as points leader, nothing pisses me off in the chase. You know, over 100, what was it, 100 and...
I think you had 127 points in front of everybody. I'm gonna
mark this down.
You were before last race on Tuesday. You, I think, were the only driver who never missed a race the entire year. So that also helped.
Awesome.
But
I didn't know that.
The number of wins that you had during the season, 5, gave you a pretty good gap. And now, all of a sudden, you have less than 20 points separating you from everybody else. So
who had the most wins?
I believe I did.
Anthony did. Yeah. He had 5 wins.
This is the thing that, all right, so of course, obviously the chase is 16 spots, and we have to give them to 16 people. And, you know, leading the points lead from the second race all the way up until now is something that I take pride in. And having the biggest points lead in ECR history going into the chase is another thing that I take a lot of pride in. But let's not discredit, man, some of these guys, some of these rookies that have came in and came up short just a couple races to where they couldn't qualify. John here himself, who has, I believe, 5 wins, no?
Yeah, I think he tied it the last race, yeah.
Yeah, so he has like 5 wins in probably half the races, man. Dude has just brought a new level of competition to the game, and they're going to throw a lot of wild cards into this chase. These first 3 races, you got Chicago, New Hampshire, and Dover. And, I mean, you look at this chase field. I believe we were going to go through this chase field here. You got Matthew Thunhorst, second place in the 6 car. He's driving for Young Guns Racing there for Nick Olson. And then you got Mark Figueroa in the 00. He's the leader and an owner of Classic Motorsports. And his driver, Stephen Massey, right behind him in 4th place. You got Haters Make Us Famous, number 73, in 5th. Michael Kinner in 6th, running his own single car show all year long. Came in a little late, just enough time to have enough starts to make it to the chase, and he did it, man. He's here. He's in the show. So you got 33 of Corey Chaffin, who won at Talladega earlier this year. He'll be trying to fight his way through the first round here. Colin Fern, of course, drives. He's the second driver in the chase for Young Guns Racing. He drives number 31. Aaron Scarborough, the third driver here in the seating for Haters Make Us Famous, number 5. Chris Sercoy, another single car team, just like Michael Kinner, who all year long has shown consistency, worked his way into the field. You got Kevin Cook, number 45, battled all year long with issues with the team and trying to keep drivers and contracts, and just through consistency and being here, man, found his way into the chase. You got Kevin Cook is in the 45. You got Justin Bland, 65, used to run for Haters Make Us Famous, and ran his own team early on in the year. Switched over to Haters Make Us Famous, and then switched to a new team, which I believe he's running for Nick Gillis again. So he's in the chase. Oh man, Luis Salmaso in the number 14 in the chase.
Hell yeah!
Haters Make Us Famous. That's our 4th guy. Proud of that. Have all of our guys in the chase, including Jeremy Rubin down there in the 34. We got Rob Burns in the number 12, who also made the chase. He is another driver. George Price Motorsports was originally owned by Leadfoot Motorsports early on in the year by Thomas Lattimore, and when things didn't work out with him and he wasn't in the league anymore, George Price took over. So for George Price to have a driver in is real big for him. Rob Burns has showed consistency all throughout the year and found his way into the chase on points alone, just consistency. So that's always the guy you got to worry about in the chase, especially when it takes consistency to move through these rounds. Last but not least, our last 2 drivers, Chuck Harrell in the 88. Always some guy you got to worry about because he's just a question mark. You never know what he's going to bring every single week in that single car team in that 88. And our 5th guy from Haters Make Us Famous Racing, Jeremy Rubin in that 34 to finish out, that 16th guy in the chase, man. So that's a hell of a field, guys. Do you guys have predictions? I'd like to hear some predictions here on who's going to be our final 4 here at Homestead. What are you guys' thoughts?
If you guys don't mind, I'd like to ask each of you a couple questions, like Luis, you, Anthony, and Nick. If you don't mind,
go for it, brother.
All right, so let me just switch roles here for a minute, and let me start with you, Luis.
Here we go.
All right, obviously not picking yourself, Luis, because you're a really fast, really clean driver, and I think you have a lot of good things ahead of you, especially in this chase really, really soon. Who do you think is the #1 favorite in your eyes? And second, who do you think is the most improved driver toward this chase?
They have to be in the chase?
Negative on the second part.
All right.
So basically, who do you think is the #1 favorite to win this championship in your eyes, not counting yourself? And in this league, who do you think is the most improved driver?
I'll go with a 3-way tie. I honestly think, or I can name who I think is going to be in the top 4, and I'm going to remove myself out, even though I think I have a pretty good shot. So if I'm not in there, I think we have 4 guys that are very, very, very evenly matched going into a potential final race. I think Anthony's one of them because I know the setups that he runs because we run the same thing and we work together the whole week trying to get to the setups. So if I'm not in it, I'm pretty sure he's going to have a pretty good stuff because that's what we're going to be doing. And this is one of the things, knowing how fast he normally is one of the things that helped me and the rest of the team made the chase because we were all trying to catch up. So I have to put him as one of the favorites. Matthew Tunhorst, because he has been one of those guys that were able to, in the middle of the year, he not only stole wins, but he beat us fair and square based on speed. So he can get it done, and he can get it done in multiple types of tracks, which is extremely important during a chase, right? I think that one of the guys that everybody's going to have to deal with is Michael Kinner, because he works with a team working setups outside of ECR, and then he comes in and brings those sets already to the competition. And being a single car team, no one knows what he's running. And if we take a look at the retrospective of what he can do, he was there a lot of the races. A couple breaks here and there. He won at Michigan, almost won it again at Michigan. So we know that he can bring it, and we know that he's consistently fast. He got second at Darlington. I think he got a second or a third place early in another race. So to me, that is a very dangerous thing. And if I'm not the fourth guy, one guy that I think is going to be a handful to deal with is Stephen Massey on the 97. I think he's one of those guys that right now will be fighting for my pick of. He's always been fast, but now he's putting up very consistent finishes. So I say that is improvement, right? So I'll put him on that list of most improved guys. And I think that if he's there, because he drives extremely aggressive, he's not afraid to put his car against anybody else. And we've seen him on Xfinity and other things pull some crazy strategies sometimes to get on front, and he's not afraid to do it. It will be a very, very interesting top four to me. So I'll put those four guys up there if I'm not in it.
So who was your top four again, real quick?
You, Matthew, Kinner, and Massey, counting myself out.
My same top four, bro.
So Anthony, who do you think is the #1 favorite for this chase, and who do you think is the most improved driver over the year?
Ouch. It's hard to say that without being biased, man. It really is.
Just shoot from the heart.
I got
it doesn't
you.
matter.
I got you. So what was the first one?
Who do you think is the favorite?
Favorite to win the whole thing.
In your eyes.
In my eyes. Can I, not including myself.
Right.
Michael Kinner.
And who do you think is the most improved driver?
Most improved driver over the whole year has got to be Luis himself. Because I believe that Luis came into the league. It was a funny story how it all happened. I had hired a driver thinking that it was Luis, and I hired him. And, you know, he was actually improving himself working with us, and then he got busy with life. And Luis signed with Young Guns and didn't work out over there, so he was looking for a ride. It happened to happen. We needed a ride. We signed Luis, and he drove with us. And I think that he's gotten so much faster and worked so much more harder, and really been a backbone towards Haters Make Us Famous, man. Like, we have some great guys over here, and him and Jeremy we've included as additions since the year started, and I think that these guys work really hard to make us fast every week. They bring everything that I bring towards the table, and that's what I look for. Like guys like that who bring everything towards the table. AJ works really hard on setups, really smart guy, can make cars fast. So when he puts everything towards it, I think we just really got a great team, man. It's a really big group effort. You got everybody who's in the chase, so you can't deny that everybody on this team has skills. They're all in the chase, and I think the most improved has got to be Luis, man. When I'm looking at all these guys, I've seen it. I've seen his career and how he's been, and the hard work that he's put in, and all the success in official racing. The guy has improved a lot from what he has started with, and that's my picks, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
You know it's not easy to win over here, and you know this competition's stiff, so you definitely got some fierce picks. Nick, I gotta hear what Nick's got to say. Who do you think is the most favorite for the chase?
Like Anthony, it's really hard for me not to be biased, because I think not easily, nothing's easy here. I think it's a fair choice to put two of my cars in there with Colin and Matthew, along with Anthony and Stephen Massey. That is my final four. Champion, I can't pick out of that. I mean, the four of them are just, I mean, they're fantastic drivers. Everybody in the chase is a great driver, you know? It's so hard to choose. I don't know if I can. It's going to be between Steven's a great driver. I don't know whether he'll have a bad day, because he's a lot more bad days most of the time. He'll have a great fast car, and then I don't know whether he closes the race. Like, he's been having trouble. Like, Darlington comes to mind. He had probably the first or second best car. I know you won that race, John, but Steven was pretty good that night. But I think he got in an accident, wrecked himself out
Got
like
that
I
Kurt
did.
Busch luck, man.
That was a nice car, yeah. But I don't know. I hate ruling people out. I just think any of you four,
Go for
or
it.
the four that I said, can win
Yeah,
this
that's
thing.
a good
Just
four.
throw one.
That's a good four.
Throw one. All right, Dunhorst.
And who do you think is the most improved driver of the year?
I'm not gonna pick myself because that's just, I don't know. I can't do that.
And that would be a good pick, by the way. For guys that don't know, Nick joined iRacing midway through the season, ran his first race at Pocono. Hell, like in 2 weeks, he went from a rookie to a B licensed driver. So now he's winning races in official, like getting an I rating larger than a lot of guys that have been here for years. So he would be a very, very solid pick for most improved driver, especially because he did it in 1/4 of the time to most guys.
I'd have to go with, I mean, Chuck's gotten a lot better in recent weeks, but Luis, you've been really good too. Man, I mean, there's so many good candidates. We've had a great year. We really have. When you think about it in hindsight, I mean, we've had a lot of great drivers come in, and you know, automatically they're starting to run great. So, I mean, you can understand why this could be a kind of a hard choice, and I don't want to choose any of my drivers. I think a very good choice would be Chris Sercoy.
I was just gonna say that, yeah.
I mean, yeah, right when I say I don't want to pick any of my drivers, but Chris Sercoy lingers. He's around all the time, and he gets it done. I don't know how he does it. He might be down and out, you know, first half, first 3 quarters, and then
Fix it out.
you'll see where did he come from at the end. So
Yeah,
I'd have to go with Chris.
He ran a hell of a race at Bristol. He
That
was
is
in
true.
top 5, top 6. He ran a hell of a race now at Richmond. He was inside the top 8, battling here. He was all the way up to top 5, I think, at one point. So he's been getting faster as the year progresses. So he's one of those guys that you can never count it out, because all of a sudden he was just there, saving his car, staying in the lead lap, making sure he doesn't touch the wall, doesn't get any damage, doesn't do anything stupid. All of a sudden, the restart, look, who just went by you? The 42, Chris Sercoy. Like, how the hell did that happen? Right?
Exactly.
And then, and it's not like one of those things, oh, he just passed you and you pass him right back. Hell no. It's like, he's faster than you at that point. There's absolutely nothing you can do. So it's one of those things that you think you're never going to see it. There it is. There it is.
You know, real quick, man, we still have Jai Hatterick here, who came along early in the season and who's helped us a tremendous amount with race control in various series. When he wasn't available to race, he just came in and subbed for race control. So he's been a great help in that. We need to hear his, you know, what his picks are as well, man. Real quick, if you got what yours are, if you're still there, man, who do you think's gonna win?
It's man, that's tough. I agree. Stephen Massey, man, I had a chance to race behind him for 15 laps in this last race we had, and he's super fast. He just has terrible luck, it seems. So he would be one of my top 4. Unfortunately, with bad luck, I don't know if I'd pick him winning it. That's for sure. Obviously, the points leader would be a safe pick. Luis, you know, always seems to finish strong. And yeah, I'd agree with Matthew Thornhorst. He's definitely a strong pick as well. Thornhorst.
All right. I think, Nick, you got to leave us right now, right? You got major appointments elsewhere. The media is just calling you. A lot of people.
You know,
you
I
need to
have
share the
interview
attention.
requests, and you know, everybody's on the phone, and I got like 10 people on hold. So I mean, no.
Yeah, no, we know that you cannot leave Taylor Swift waiting, so she's probably blowing up your phone. Yeah,
I
so
can't.
all right, so.
Don't be messing with my girl. Hold up. Hold the phone.
Selena, that better?
I'm about Taylor.
All right, you can have her.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Been there, done that. Time to move on.
Yeah.
There you
Now I
go.
got a question that goes back to track dynamics.
All right. Just before Nick, if you need to leave, thank you very much for being here. We always appreciate you participating on the hub. So we'll catch you up next time. But
Yep. Peace out, guys. Good show.
Young Guns Racing.
Yeah.
the mastermind behind Young Guns, the Young Gun himself. So.
Honestly, before I go, I don't know how I put this team together. It's kind of a. I have Anthony to thank because I probably don't give him credit for this, and I'm gonna say it out loud. You know, Anthony has been owning the team. I've been his driver multiple times, and I mean, he taught me the strings on how to be a successful owner, and I mean, it's working. So I have Anthony to thank for that. So I'll leave it at that, and. Hopefully both of our teams can make it into the Final Four. I think both of them can.
Hey guys, you know, I'm sitting here looking at the bracket, and I'm not trying to build up any more drama, but just think about this. We got a brand new build. It's not been completely tested in this league, and clearly there are 16 guys that possibly can win a championship. I mean,
It could be
literally
anybody.
16 guys. Okay, you got Chicagoland, New Hampshire, Dover. 3 crazy-ass tracks. Then, follow me, Kansas, Charlotte, Talladega. Talladega is a complete wild card. Anything can happen. Then, once you get down to 6, yes, you have very skilled tracks. Martinsville, Texas, Phoenix. And then on the Homestead. This is insane.
Yeah, whoever can survive the first round, because I honestly think it's. And you gotta give NASCAR props for this, because if they wanted to design like a gauntlet of how can you go increasing the level of difficulty through the thing, I don't think there were better tracks for this, because you go from a 1.5 miles that can destroy your setup to a flat track like New Hampshire, and then you go to a complete concrete surface in Dover that is just like a Bristol on steroids. How the hell do you come out of that thing? Oh, easy. We're going to come out with another 1.5 miles where you cannot run the bottom. You need to run the top in Kansas. So you're going to be kissing that wall through God knows how many laps. You know what? That was easy. Let's put it in Charlotte, one of the fastest, tight track, slippery as fuck. And then, you know what? Whoever came out of this thing, I'm going to put you at Talladega. 200 and whatever miles an hour, 43 cars for 200 laps. Good luck.
That's excellent. That's perfect, dude. I mean, Talladega's gonna be the one where you're gonna have guys so pissed off at each other that they're gonna come back to the next round just like, all right, I'm already out. I'm just gonna drive and screw you, you know. So it's gonna get real interesting on what's gonna happen there. You have a lot of interesting things that could happen here. I'm just really surprised at everything, how it's came down to this, man. I mean, we haven't even brought it up yet, but you got Max Speed TV, who joined and partnered with us here for the final 6 races of our chase. So, I mean, we mentioned in our last ECR Hub show, but you guys who don't know, Max Speed TV, they do a great job. They have great broadcasting, and you guys will be able to catch us on our last 6 races for this chase, and people will be able to see it all battled down to Homestead on who this Final 4 is. And I think that a lot of people are going to be surprised, man. I think that I wanted to bring this up. I think it's the perfect time since we're talking about the chase, but I think it'd be perfect that I want to throw up $5 million. $5 million. We're going to put it up on our group page, and I'm going to have everybody throw in their votes, and we're going to record them. I want everybody to give us your final four. Okay, so if you're listening, you go ahead and think about who the final four at Homestead is going to be. Whoever predicts the final four will get $5 million.
That's
impossible.
That is ECR funds for everybody. So we don't break the internet thinking that Anthony has $5 million sitting in his bank account, right? So just so we know, we don't want anything to happen to him, his family getting the whole thing. That's ECR funds, our virtual funds that we run here, our fund system. Okay.
It's impossible.
Good catch.
You know, like just it's impossible to pick. Like I know,
impossible. Nothing is impossible.
Oh, feel me out here. Like, I did that whole pick for Colin, but you look at these 16 drivers.
No, it's stupid.
There's not a single one that you can count out. I can't count anybody out.
It's like the lottery. Somebody's going to win, though. All right? So, I'm throwing up the $5 million, though. I promise you. $5 million. You'll see the vote up in our page there, so look forward to it. $5 million, you get your picks, you start thinking about it, you break this thing down, and you look at how it's going to break down, because we need your final four. I want to hear it.
Everybody.
Can I just break down a couple of drivers here real quick?
Yeah.
Like, Anthony, I raced against you at Pocono. We had the most awesome battle, and it was just me and you at Pocono. And Luis, you've gained so much momentum the past couple weeks. You're fast as hell. Macy's fast. If he doesn't screw up, I mean, he's obviously a shoo-in. Thunhorse, the same. Medling, Chaffin, Chuck Harrell. They just had awesome races at Richmond, and they just did the Battle of Endurance, not to mention Chris Secoy. How do you even pick 4 drivers to make it to the end? Because it's an awesome battle. I don't know.
And you know what? We were talking about this the other time. We're considering that these guys are going to be, like, for the thing. If anybody else who is not in the chase wins a race, and John, you won 5 races, you could be called the Kyle Busch of ECR this year. Won a bunch of races.
I guarantee that.
See, so if nobody can win a race, let's put it like that. Let's just follow you. Guys, it's like you can face a elimination round every week where you have 7, 8 guys fighting for a position. And it will be lap a lap. It will be corner to corner, because one single spot that you lose can kill your average, can kill your points. You might be out by a point depending on what happened. If you don't win a race, this thing is gonna be insane. And
then you throw the new build on top of it.
Ah, Christ.
Yeah. With this new build, we got guys like John and Jai who are in the Cup Series, not in the chase, trying to run every week. What are your guys' thoughts, man? You guys aren't in the chase. How do you approach the chase? How do you approach every single race? And what are your thoughts behind it? Like you said, you don't think any chase guy's going to win a race. You just want to go out there and try to dominate, right? Like, is that the thoughts behind everything? You guys got nothing to lose, pretty much, right?
Well, honestly, since this new build, I've really tried to attend practice because, in my opinion, you see the most rubber buildup in our pre-practice before the race, because there's a lot of drivers out there doing a lot of laps. It does build up, and you can feel the differences. So I've definitely tried to attend practice more.
Well, what are like myself, Jai, Ken Worley, Brian Wildison, every one of those is fast guys. What do we have to lose? Why don't we go out there, tape it up as much as it can handle? I mean, we're redlining. Our temperatures are blinking on the edge. We can do pit strategy. Everybody takes 4. We take 2. Anything we can do to get that edge. We're only concerned with just wins. You're a chaser. You're like, I need to get at least top 5. So I can move on the next round. You know what I mean? It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. I'm excited about all this.
As a guy who wants to make it to Homestead, man, I'm just focused on finishing and trying to get the best finish I can. So if it means fighting bumper to bumper and a guy wants to really challenge for position for the win, you know, I'll settle for second as long as it gets me to the next round. You know, so you're right. It's guys who are going to be fighting, and the hunger is more for guys who have nothing to lose like you, and it makes it so much more interesting. So when we come down to those final 6 races and we come into Max Speed TV, you guys definitely want to tune in because it's going to be interesting.
But I will say this within the same breath: as much excitement as it's going to be with all the chase and with guys like me and Jai and Brian that have nothing to lose, I think you're going to see a massive amount of respect for guys in the chase. So, like, let's say you're in front of me and we're on lap 5. No way I'm going to push the envelope, or Jai or anybody else can push the envelope. We'll get you. You know what I mean? There's going to be it's going to be the passive aggressive type of race where you like. You're not going to want to take that chance to screw up somebody's chase, but you're also going to take chances in the pits or strategy or whatever to make sure you can, you know, take the win or whatever, because that's the only thing that matters at this point.
You know, we've been talking a lot about this ECR chase, man. What are you guys' thoughts on the real NASCAR chase? Who's going to take it all? If I could switch it up.
I think it's the same boat as this, man. You got 16 strong racers. Everyone's, you know, proven themselves really up until this point. I think we're going to see Hendrick Motorsports step it up. They always tend to. I hope they do for their sake. But at the same point, I mean, lately, who can stop Kyle Busch?
The reason I brought it up was because I asked, because a lot of guys are counting Hendricks out. I don't know why, but they're counting Hendricks out. And when you look at the chase tracks and you go back and you look at those tracks, my Hendrick boys, man, I'm a Hendricks fan.
It's their favorite tracks. Yeah, it's where they do the best. Yeah.
Tracks. They come back and they're giving it their all, and I think you're going to see that in the ECR. And I want to compare Haters Make Us Famous to them Hendrick boys, man, where we had a lot of success with a lot of our boys. We're here. We're all in the chase. We're here, and a lot of guys are counting us out. I even was included as an underdog, and a few guys who didn't even include me in the final round. So a guy who's led the points all year long and fought hard, a lot of guys have counted us out because we've had like a Hendricks kind of year where these past 4 or 5 weeks, you know, where they're not chase tracks, we haven't really given it our all because we're locked in. We approached it differently. I believe that's kind of how Hendricks has approached it, man. They know they're locked in. They know the tracks to focus on, and I think that in ECR is a lot like NASCAR, where we know the tracks to focus on. The chase is here, and you're really going to see guys focus on these tracks. You're going to get a lot of question marks, and that's why, to rotation-wise here, everybody here, man, you know, just who's going to win it all for both NASCAR and ECR?
Well, NASCAR, you can. I'm a Dale Jr. fan through and through, and Gibbs has amazing momentum at the moment, but you can't count out Harvick, and you can't, as much as I hate to say it, you cannot count out Jimmy Johnson until you get to Homestead. He's mathematically out of the equation. But when we go to ECR, you know, I may not have put Anthony Fitchner in the win, but I didn't necessarily count him out. It's so hard to pick with 16 drivers. You know, I'm just banking on, you know, possibly bad luck, because I know you got the speed. It's just who the hell do you pick to get to the 4, and then who do you pick to win? I think any person, even Sean Menley, you know, Chuck Harrell, I think any single person, 16 out of those, could win the championship, take it all the way in. All it takes is one bad race, put somebody in the negative. They got to race their ass off, you know, and it is such a hard thing to pick. I don't know how anybody could legitimately pick something without going, I hope it's right. You know?
Yeah, talking about Rio NASCAR, one thing that I'm concerned is the Gibbs quartet killing themselves. That is one thing that I am concerned for them. They can pretty much run the table. They can pretty much put all 4 guys over there. But at the same time, they can end up trying to outpace each other, and that might open the door depending on what happened. I think you're going to have at least one driver of the 4888 shop. I think one of those 2 guys, and if he doesn't run into any bad luck, I think you might see Junior in the top 4. I don't think he wins it if he gets to the top 4, but he might be one of those guys. He runs pretty well in all of the tracks from the chase, maybe with the exception of Dover and New Hampshire. Those are not. If he can clear the first round, he should be okay, because Martinsville, Talladega, Phoenix, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, so Phoenix not so much, but all the other ones he handles himself pretty good. Johnson's Johnson. He might win every week, depending
So who
on
you
what
got,
happens.
man? Do you think 48, 88? Somebody out of that shop?
I think Junior's in the Final Four. I think, believe it or not, I don't pick Kyle Busch. I would put Matt Canson in this Final Four. More than I hate it, I think one of the Penske boys is going to be in the top 4, and I would love it not to be him, but I think Joey Logano is going to be there, because to me, Logano and Casey Kane are the two most obnoxious drivers that NASCAR tried to create the past couple decades. It's bleh, bleh. And I don't think they have the muscle to take Harvick out of the Final Four. It's just too big of a momentum that they have. That team winning it last year, they know exactly what they have to do. Pretty sure he's gonna do again like 4 top 2s, win 2 or 3 races. To keep that guy out of the Final Four is gonna need something, like, and that's my Final Four. If he comes,
Forget Kurt Busch.
Those are some good picks, man. Those are some good picks.
Yeah.
God,
if he
Guy Hatterick,
if he
Nick
come
Olson.
just like if he gets to that thing, I'm really afraid that Joey Logano might win the championship.
Don't forget
Oh,
Kurt
boy.
Busch.
Don't say those names.
I think Kurt can drive, and it's funny because Kurt and Stephen Massey, they are perfect for each other. It's like that's and
They are.
Kurt is
Stephen
Steven's
is our
favorite
Kurt.
driver. It's perfect. Sometimes he's too fast for his own good. So that's my only thing
Good picks.
that I think he might just blows himself up. So
Who we got for Nick Olson? Nick Olson, who you got?
Nick
He
went
left.
Nick went on a date with Taylor Swift, so he should be doing something else right now. Jai, give us top 4 and the winner.
All right, man. Top 4. Well, I mean, Denny Hamlin is my racer, so I'm even injured and all. I heard an interview earlier today that he actually did, and
He's not wearing the crutches, yeah.
it doesn't really affect him, especially when he's been sitting down. He said he'll sit down for a while and he'll.
And he's probably getting the needle. He's probably doing a bunch of stuff as well. So,
So I mean, I'd have.
Jai, you're cutting up.
I'm cutting out.
Now you're good. Now you're good.
Any one of the JGR guys really have a shot, but I definitely have to go with Kyle Busch. I agree, Harvick has been strong. I mean, Jimmy Johnson at the beginning of the year, I didn't think anybody was gonna beat him, and I don't know really. I really don't know what happened to him. He just kind of
NASCAR changed the package.
Yeah, but I mean, he's always been a racer and a fan of short tracks, and the package it did hurt the short track racers, but I mean, he's coming back. I think he's got a shot, as well as that would be my Final 4. It would be Jimmy Johnson, it would be Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Busch.
And who wins?
I mean,
Go!
It's a lot. There's a lot of racing to be had at this point. But
Pick a name.
I would,
Go!
At this point, Kyle Busch.
There you go. M&M's 18. All right. John.
I'm a Denny Hamlin fan.
John, who wins the whole thing?
I think it's gonna be crazy, but I think Dale Jr. I think Gordon.
The world's not ready for that thing. Can you imagine the day after Dale Jr. wins the championship?
I think Dale Jr. skates by till Homestead, and he's really good at Homestead.
Yeah, he runs that high line pretty well.
I think for some fluke reason, and I'm a Dale Jr. fan, I think he wins it. And I think Gordon, Edwards, and for some weird reason, I think I need my brain checked, Boyer come in top 4. Just for some crazy reason.
It's their last chance. It's their last chance.
He's fighting for a ride next year, so why not? Why not go for it?
Yeah. I think you'll get Martin Truex fighting for that Final 4 spot. You'll get Boyer. You can never count out Ryan Newman, as impossible as they might sound. So.
Well, for Michael Waltrip Racing, I'd like to see them take the win. That would definitely be awesome on their last season.
Crazy. Yeah. Well, things that Internet's not ready for: Junior winning the championship, Jeff Gordon winning the championship and retiring.
I mean, I believe, isn't Dega the first race of the last round of the last 4? I mean, if Junior makes it to Dega, he's always been killer at super speedways.
Dega is the last one of the second round.
Oh, it is the last of the second.
Yeah, they go Chicago, New Hampshire,
and that may
Dover.
Get him into the third, in my opinion. If he could take that, he's a super speedway.
Yeah,
you know, just like his dad, he can see the air.
So we'll see. Good pick, guys. Good picks. All right, we're almost an hour in. Should we change topics and go to the most lunatic of topics? Football.
I'm not big into sports, so unfortunately I would not be able to contribute all that much. Just end the hub.
John, what is your team? Football.
I am a Cincinnati Bengals fan.
No, he wants to end it. He doesn't want to talk about football.
Hey, we're first round and done every year with Andy Dalton. So I mean, not like we're gonna get anywhere.
The rifle. Well, Jai doesn't care about football, and Anthony and I were Cowboy fans.
I got a question before we get too far off the racing topic.
Do it.
Dynamic tracks. Are we gonna be as realistic as the race? And like this weekend, for instance, are we gonna, you know, if it rains, start the race with no rubber?
Ooh.
Are we gonna follow weekly weather to that extent?
That was something that we didn't have before. So I think that will come down to an admin meeting, right? If we see that happening during the race.
I think, in just my opinion, I think we need to do the old test. Let's try this one out. Leave practice, carry over to qualifying, carry over to race, see how that goes. Because we got plenty of 1.5-mile tracks. Obviously, there's a lot to prevail because you got to adjust during the race, adjust your setup, adjust your line, driver, whatever wise, and then go from there and, you know, reassess at the end of the week. That's just my opinion.
That's what we planned on trying to do this Tuesday because we did something different last week. We did where we cleaned it after practice and then we laid rubber down at qualifying and carried it over to the race. This time we want to try to carry it over from practice to qualifying to the race and see what happens. So I think after we figure out what that does, we'll pretty much know where we want to be. We tried both, both aspects there. So we'll figure out which way is the best way to go and go from there.
League admins are always on top of it. That's for damn sure.
Hey, brother, we try. So for anybody that doesn't race with ECR, we run realistic weather. So whatever guys are running every Sunday, we replicate at iRacing. So If you're used to driving NIS rooms, AE open rooms, fixed rooms, and you come into an ECR race, you never know the weather, track condition that you're going to get, especially now with the dynamic tracks. So if you want to test your skills, if you want to see how fast the guys are, if you want to come into an environment like this, look us up, ECRLeague.com, at Facebook, Elite Championship Racing, on iRacing, it's iRacing, Elite Championship Racing. Our Twitter that we need to use more, that we haven't been using that one, ECR_League. So look us up, come join, come race, come practice. Feel free to do it. We have room, we have open spots, and everybody that starts on Xfinity and trucks are always welcome at Cup to run the Cup car. So come join us. If you know anybody that races with us, ask them to introduce us. We're more than willing to talk to everybody. So always
Watch
open
us
to
on
the drivers.
Maxfeed.
And exactly, starting in Kansas every Tuesday night around 9:30 to 9:40, we're going live on YouTube at Max Speed TV. Rudy Cummings has been doing a great job. We were finalizing the last couple of details this week, so he's excited. He's ready to go. He cannot wait to start broadcasting with us. He's been saying that he's been watching a couple of the races that we did, that we broadcasted before. He's like, this is going to be awesome because this is an amazing format. What you guys do is different from most leagues that they broadcast. So it's another wrinkle, it's another twist that guys normally don't see it. So watch the broadcast, share with people, and if you want to come in and race with us, we're more than happy to welcome you to come race with us. All right. So, all right. So just, I don't think we need to go into football that much because we're going to be here all night if we do. So let me see who the John. Bengals and Chargers. Who wins?
Bengal cheerleaders win.
No. Anthony. Cowboys. Eagles. Sunday afternoon. What are you going to be watching? The race or the Cowboys?
I'll be watching the game, without a doubt. NASCAR has problems when football starts. Gotta watch my boys.
There you go. I think the Cowboys lose, believe it or not. I think it's just one of those games that they need to lose in order for things to get situated where they need, like come back to the earth, work hard, the whole thing. So I think they lose. And it's going to be at Philly, which is not a bad thing. Hopefully they'll win the next one. So, all right. Any other topic, guys, or this will be a short version of the ECR Hub tonight? I think we covered a pretty good number of topics tonight, incredibly fast.
I just really want to say thank you to you, Luis and Anthony. I mean, this I've raced in a lot of other leagues, and this league is absolutely top notch. The admins are absolutely amazing. The competition is phenomenal. This is by far, in my opinion, the best league on iRacing, and I absolutely love being here, and I think a lot of other people do too. So just thank you to you guys. You guys put in so much work, so much effort, and it's just my pleasure to absolutely be here and enjoy hanging out with you guys.
Thanks, brother. That's the feedback that we aim for every week, to get guys to be excited to come in and race, to be like looking for that day in the week that they've been preparing the whole week, because you know what, Tuesday night is the night. I'm gonna go in and it's gonna be a blast, and I'm gonna put everything that I know how to do, and it's gonna be crazy, fast, tough, competitive. And the one thing that I think Anthony can even talk a little bit more about this, that we aim to do, is to provide everybody with an environment that they can come in and drive, knowing that whoever they're driving around are like quote unquote experienced drivers, even if they don't have enough track time to compare with a lot of these guys that run official races, NISs, the whole thing. But because we run together and because we run a 36 race schedule during the year, by this time everybody knows how to race with each other. So that makes the races a lot more difficult because you know the other guy's weaknesses and vice versa, right? And at the same time, I know that this particular driver likes to run this particular line, so we can run side by side, we can share turns, we can bump, we can do a bunch of different things without being that crazy race of officials where everybody's crashing, no respect, no nothing. So that's what we always try to do. Keep it respectful, keep it clean, but above everything else, keep it fun. So hopefully we've been doing a good of enough job that we can carry this over to next year. Everybody is welcome, like I said. Wants to join, wants to check out, come see us. We have some incredible things that we are already planning for next year. Hopefully we're going to be able to double the number of drivers that we have. We're looking for a massive number of rookies for our truck series next year, for our Xfinity series, and for our Cup series as well. And we're aiming, honestly, to get to a point where we can have go home qualifying in all 3 series, or even within the 4th series that we end up doing it. So that is the goal. That's what we're trying to do. Like, get guys to be, I can run NIS, I can run A Open, but you know what? I want to try to run ECR. I want to try to make the race. And I want to try to run with those guys because it's tough, it's difficult, and requires a lot of time. That is the goal. So if we can find partners to help us build that vision, not only financially, but it helps spread out the word. Drivers like you guys that go into lobbies, races, and help spread the word. You know what? You want to run in a good league? Come run at ECR. That's all we need. Positive feedback, positive message, and hopefully we're going to be able to do it.
Luis, I couldn't have said it better, man. You pretty much said everything that I could have said. You nailed it on the spot. We just need guys coming in, and we understand the chase is here. Well, anybody who joins now can't really run Cup, but they can definitely run the trucks and the Xfinity with us, get to know the guys, make a little money in our system, get to know everything, and then build towards the rookie class for next year. We need a lot of rookies, and through the off season we look to build and get better and improve on everything and have full broadcasting for our top series. So that's the goal, man. And of course, again, like you mentioned, Max Speed TV, Rudy Cummings, he's going to be doing the final 6 races of the chase. We don't want people to forget that, so tune in and check us out, man. Subscribe, like to we do this every week, so we try to get guys in it, and we're trying to build a brand here. We want guys to have fun here. That's the biggest thing. Have fun. Have some of the best guys in EC and iRacing coming from different leagues, coming to compete in one league and just have fun in 3 different series. No matter what series you're in, you have fun, you have competition, and that's the goal. That's all we want to do, is try to get everything in NASCAR and bring it onto iRacing, and try to have that real feeling like it means something. You're not just showing up to race. There's more to it than a finishing position, So that's the feeling you get, and if that's what you want more out of it, man. This is definitely the place. And like Luis said, man, everything he said is just spot on. I mean, some of these other guys can attest to it. I'd love to hear what they have to say. I mean, it's just that's a great closing statement. Great things to point out is that we're doing it different, man. We have different logic to it, and we know what the guys want. We know what everybody wants, and we have a great system going here. And we just hope that the people that are here enjoy it, and that's what builds. You can have the greatest rules. Doesn't matter what the rule book says, but if you don't have the people, then you don't have anything. So we're lucky enough to have a great roster, great competition, great guys who follow those rules, who believe in the system. That's the most important thing.
And I kind of just got back and I just heard what John said. I just wanted to back up what John said. Even though this is the first league I've been on in iRacing, I can tell it's probably one of the best out there, just by the way it's run. And like John said, the admins are freaking incredible. I can't say enough about all the drivers. We don't really have any problems with anybody. Like, you'll have your stuff on track, but everyone gets along, and we all have a shit ton of fun racing, and it's a blast being in.
Yeah, I ran officials for a while, and I was just, this is honestly my first league, and I was just looking for something to work towards, something to work for. I mean, winning in iRacing doesn't really amount to all that much, but in the league atmosphere, it just makes it more worth it. But I love the camaraderie and the racing environment. It's really what I was looking for.
For those guys that don't know, that voice in the middle, that was our driver number 34, Jeremy Rubin, who has the final spot at the chase. 5th driver for Hater Make Us Famous that joined us at the end for the final word. So just that Peach So Hazy Stones at the end just to close it out the show. So
Final 4.
there you go. Ruben. Very quickly.
Pick my final 4?
Final 4 for ECR.
Alright,
Final
Anthony, Fitchner, Mark Figueroa. I'm going to go with Thunhorst. Last one, Justin Bland, and the champion's going to be Anthony.
Oh yeah. Top 4 and NASCAR.
Oddly, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, probably Joey Logano, and I think go with Ryan Newman again. I think he's going to be consistent again. I think he'll be good. He might even get into the victory lane, but champion's going to be Harvick back to back.
Damn, no Hendricks.
There you go.
No Hendricks. Nope.
I agree. I almost agree with the Newman. He pulled it off last year, and he seems confident that he's going to pull it off again.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get the championship, but I think he'll be up there.
You got to win to get a championship.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately.
Well, there you go, guys. So those are ECR picks, NASCAR picks, real life picks. So once again, if you guys want to race with us, come join us. Come see what ECR is all about. We have an open policy, so come join us. Come for a practice race, test race, practice before the races. We're always open for new recruits. And on behalf of all the admins, I want to thank you guys for listening. I want to thank John for joining us for the very first time. Was a pleasure, buddy. Want to thank Jai as well for being the very first ECR Hub. And of course, want to thank Jeremy Rubin for his late but very incisive participation in the end. That changed the completely dynamic of everything. And of course, thank Anthony, our league president, team owner, driver of the 87 Gene Beam Mean Driving Machine. So, thank you guys. Any final thoughts?
Let's go get him at Chicago.
There you go. John's been saying that no one's going to win except him. So, I don't want to put a big bullseye on his back.
John.
Well, not just me. I'm just saying that, like, me and Jai and Brian Wilson and Ken, we're going to make sure that no chaser wins, period.
There you go,
John
guys.
beat me at New Hampshire. It was a hell of a race. I remember that it was going to be a good battle. I had some bad luck on one of the restarts there in New Hampshire. That's one of these tracks at the first round. And then you got Dover. I won Dover, but John wasn't in the league then. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes then, man. We got a lot of guys who are good here. Martinsville's coming up. Haters Make Us Famous is looking strong for these tracks. So my guys are going to be ready. And when John put that statement out there, I said, let it be known, we're up for the challenge, baby.
Hell yeah.
Well, I could say whatever the hell, but with this new build, there's nothing, I mean absolutely nothing set in stone. Because this is crazy.
Well, we will soon find out. So guys, if you want, tune in. Come join us every Tuesday. ECR Cup Racing. The chase is on. We start next Tuesday at Chicago around 9:30 Eastern Time. So for you guys in California, it's pretty easy. Late afternoon, around 6:30. Perfect. Central Time, you're good to go. East Coast, you're even better. Come join us. Great racing, a lot of fun. ECRLeague.com. Check us out. Look for us on Facebook. All right? And that's it. On behalf of everybody at ECR, all the admins, all the drivers, all the team owners, all the fans, everybody just following, all the family, all of our partners, Max Speed TV, thank you very much. Guys, we'll see you at ECR Hub, hopefully in a couple of weeks when we already have the first couple of races done in the chase, and we'll be able to predict who goes, who stays, and whose dreams fall shattering towards next year. On behalf of everybody, good night, good luck. My name is Luis Almazo. Peace out, everybody.
Sound muted.